Institutes of the Christian Religion by John Calvin. Book 1, Chapter 5, Section 12. The manifestation of God is choked by human superstition and the error of philosophers. Hence arises that boundless filthy mire of error, wherewith the whole earth was filled and covered, for each man's mind is like a labyrinth, so that it is no wonder that individual nations were drawn aside into various falsehoods. And not only this, but individual men almost had their own gods. For as rashness and superficiality are joined to ignorance and darkness, scarcely a single person has ever been found who did not fashion for himself an idol or a spectre in place of God. Surely just as waters boil up from a vast full spring, so does an immense crowd of gods flow forth from the human mind, while each one, in wandering about with too much license, wrongly invents this or that about God himself. However, it is not necessary here to draw up a list of the superstitions with which the world has been entangled, because there would be no end to it. And so without a word of them, it is sufficiently clear from so many corruptions how horrible is the blindness of the human mind. I pass over the rude and untutored crowd, but among the philosophers who have tried with reason and learning to penetrate into heaven, how shameful is the diversity! As each was furnished with higher wit, graced with art and knowledge, so did he seem to camouflage his utterances. Yet if you look more closely upon all these, you will find them all to be fleeting unrealities. The Stoics thought themselves very clear when they said that one could elicit from all parts of nature various names for God, yet without on this account destroying the unity of God, as if indeed we were not already more than prone to vanity, without being drawn further and more violently into error by the multiplicity of gods foisted upon us. Even the mystic theology of Egyptians shows all have sedulously brooded upon this, so as not to appear to rave without reason, and perchance even at first glance something that seemed probable would deceive the simple and careless. But no mortal ever contrived anything that did not basely corrupt religion. And this very confused diversity emboldened the Epicureans and other crass despisers of piety to cast out all awareness of God. For when they saw the wisest persons contending contrary opinions from the disagreements of these, and even from their frivolous and absurd teaching, they did not hesitate to gather that men vainly and foolishly bring torments upon themselves when they seek for a God that is not. And this they thought to do with impunity, because it would be preferable to deny outright God's existence than to fashion uncertain gods and then stir up endless quarrels. But these folk pass a purely foolish judgment, or rather, they conjure up a cloud out of men's ignorance to conceal their own impiety. In such ignorance there is not the least justification for departing from God. But since all confess that there is nothing concerning which the learned and the unlearned at the same time disagree so much, hence one may conclude that the minds of men which thus wander their search after God are more than stupid and blind in the heavenly mysteries. Some praise the reply of Simonides, who asked by the tyrant Hiero who God was, begged to be given a day to ponder. When on the following day the tyrant asked the same question, he asked for 2 days more, and after having frequently double the number of days, finally answered, "The longer I consider this, the more obscure it seems to me." He wisely indeed suspended judgment on a subject so obscure to himself. Yet hence it appears that if men were taught only by nature, they would hold to nothing certain or solid or clear-cut, but would be so tied to confused principles as to worship an unknown God.